As a Mizrahi, he slayed executive realness. As a LaCroix, he produced the most sought-after ball DVDs in history and inspired the legendary Sneaker vs. Sneaker category. Then, as a Lon Vin, he created Ballroom's original Blog Talk radio show. Now he's doing it again with his all-new show, The Roundtable with Tom Blumenthal, spilling everything in his first ever exclusive interview is the legend, the icon, the founding overall father, Rodney Balmain.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here with you, sir.
Welcome. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. It is indeed a pleasure to have you. You know, we've had this thing in the works for quite a while, a few weeks. My people have been going back and forth with your people. We finally agreed on some terms. We nailed down a date, and here we are.
Good.
How you been, man? It's good to see you.
Oh, I've been good. Just trying to maintain. I'm doing these times. Trying to stay focused, stay grounded, and just making it do what it do.
We're going through this COVID thing right now, which has kind of upended everybody's life over this last 6 or 7 months. How has it impacted you? Are you still able to travel? Because I know you're a guy who likes to get around the country and attend different functions. Are you still able to go here and there and be at the functions like you normally would with the COVID going on?
Yes. I was fearful when in March. It was actually really kind of strong. So I maintained and stayed in the city for a little while. But as I looked at numbers and people were still trying to decide what they were going to do and things of that nature, I was able to guide myself as well.
Yeah. How are you? Are you taking any special precautions, or are you just going and hoping for the best?
Of course, we always hope for the best. But as far as being masked up, sanitizer, going from places to place, you can social distance, but getting to a function and actually being at the function, it's a little hard with everybody wanting to see performance, everybody wanting to see the battles and stuff like that. So people tend to crowd the areas.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Rodney, because I watched a lot of the videos from Atlanta this weekend, Labor Day weekend, and I didn't see a whole lot of social distancing. In fact, I didn't see a whole lot of masks. So how do you feel about, people still going to these balls and promoters still having balls?
COVID, it's a different realm for us. So you definitely have to be mindful of what you do. But just like with everything else, a life has to go on and life will go on. So if you know or you feel comfortable with yourself, it's an individual-based thing. If you feel comfortable with yourself going out and still taking the precautions that's needed. Because remember a while back, I ain't gonna say a few years back, but a while back when it was the AIDS epidemic, and people was like, "Oh, I don't want you to cough on me," or if they touch you, if spit get on you, you got AIDS. But we still had to maintain. We still had to go to work. We still had to travel. We still had to do. People were educated on it as well as they being educated on COVID. So I think it's still a life choice thing.
We're going to take a quick break. Folks, you're watching The Roundtable with Tom Blumenthal, my very special guest, the legendary icon, Rodney Balmain. We'll be right back in just a moment. And welcome back to The Roundtable, my very special guest, the one and only. I've been trying to get this man to sit down with me for the longest. He finally agreed under considerable pressure. Mr. Mr. Rodney Balmain. Rodney, you have a very long history, and I don't think there's anybody in Ballroom who doesn't know who you are. You're all over the place.
Popular.
You have dominated realness for years, but there are still people who question the realness of Rodney Balmain. What do you say to those people who say he shouldn't be winning realness? He ain't real.
It's always going to be naysayers. I proved that when I came out. My goal was to walk against everybody that was considered a heavy hitter everybody who dominated the category, and everybody who was considered A-list, who is A-list, whether they're retired or not, has an L by their name when they battle me. So I felt good about that. So, you know, for the
You've gotten the best of them.
right, the best of the best. I've battled. They beat me. I beat them. So I'm in that. When it comes to realness, legendary realness, whatever, I am tops with no questions asked.
So you dismiss those people who question your realness.
Always. Just say, come on to the floor. If you can make it to the ball and pay your $30 to get in, I'll be waiting in the back for you.
So, if you've battled the whole A-list of realness people, realness contestants, is there one who was your favorite? I got him. Which one would that be?
That would be Roy Ebony. We battled a few times, and I was able to get him one time. It was a pleasure for me because I'll go to New York all the time because they was like, the realness people, they'll give me their names. So I said, okay, James Icon. Okay, well, Revlon at that time. James Icon, Man Prodigy, Roy, rest in peace, Jihad, Dre, Melson. These were the tops of the top for realness. So they were my big brothers, but they still was, let's battle.
I remember all those people because, it's funny when you mention those names, memories pop in my head because when they hit the floor, it was like, oh shit, everybody's looking like, who's going to step out to battle, so it is a big deal when you hit the floor up against one of those people because they are the epitome of what the category is calling for, always. So, I think that does make a big statement. And, I think it should silence people when they question your resume. You just, you just name some of those names and it's like, how can you question it, But some people...
They wasn't around. But see, they wasn't around. So when they came about, I was already a legend for realness. So I was moving on to Old Way and moving on to All-American and things of that nature. So of course, in their mind, they're not even knowing because they wasn't there. They haven't seen any VHS tapes or anything like that, but they still know to this day, I still can win.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I interviewed someone else and I was talking about how this new generation of ballroom contestants, they don't really respect people who came before them. There's no, it used to be, but not anymore. There's no, people pay homage to those who paved the way and laid the groundwork and the foundation. What do you think about these new kids? They just kind of, I call them the microwave generation because they pop on the scene and they think it just started when they hit the floor. Like nobody came along before them.
Right. They the rules of engagement have definitely changed. So me being a person that's a part of the change, they ask me questions. I ask them questions as well because they're the new generation. I want to know what they're thinking. They're basically like, if I don't see you, I haven't seen you, or you don't come to the balls or things like that, you don't exist. If our leaders taught us history and stuff like that, when a person comes out, we would know. But they're not teaching us. They're not saying anything. They're not showing us clips. They're not telling us where to go to look up history and look up information. So to their defense, they don't know.
Rodney, everybody knows you as the guy, again, you're all over the place. How do you manage to be, it seems like everywhere? I mean, how do you do it? I know you love Spirit Airlines, but how is it, how do you go all over the country like you do?
It's not just Spirit, it's me. When I see a flyer or when I see anything and the kids or myself say I want to go to a ball, the flyers come out 6-7 months in advance. So it's not like you have to wait to like these people do now. They wait till they seen the flyer 6-7 months ago, but they still wait till the week of and try to book accommodation.
Are you planning and booking trips 6 months out for the balls you want to go to?
Of course. You can book if you have it right then. You can look at. Of course, you shop for deals. You go from Kayak to Priceline to Expedia to Hotwire to the actual sites themselves and look, and then you price shop.
And I guess it helps to have it right then, as you said. You ain't got to wait to get it. You got it.
You have to have coins as well. You have to be able to work and earn it and have the money to decide. You can wait till the next week or the week after that. Everybody always say they get paid every 2 weeks. So you could book your flight that first 2 weeks. Then you look for your hotels. You do the same sites again. Sometimes you can do hotel and flights together. You get a bigger price deal and stuff like that. And then you already have that secured. You can start working on your effect. You can do window shopping.
Well, so let's say pre-COVID, okay, when we were really traveling. Maybe we'll just use 2019 as an example. Give me a cost estimate of travel for you. How much do you spend in a ball year, a calendar year for the ballroom scene on travel?
I couldn't even, because sometimes you've worked up enough points where you get free travel and free hotel because of your previous. So it varies. It varies. Sometimes I've flown on Spirit. I did a trip. I booked 3 tickets for 3 balls for under $300 because Spirit was having $25 sales and stuff like that. So that's 3 balls for $300, and the hotels. You have house members that work at hotels. You have friends that work at hotels. So you can get those for maybe $60, $70 a night. So,
but I guess it's not a stretch to say you spend thousands on your travel for just the travel part of the functions to attend these functions.
Not each ball.
Well, I don't mean each ball. I mean in a year, you're spending $1,000. Yeah, and then you factor in your effects and all that stuff. So I mean, obviously you're dedicated to what you're doing because you spend a lot of money on it. So.
Right, and then it's also the thing of winning balls. The money that you win. I didn't win lots and lots and lots.
Now I will ask you to give me an estimate of what you think your winnings have been, but I don't know. I don't want to get you in trouble with the IRS, so maybe you don't want to answer that question.
No, because a few balls I go to. Like I'll just use Pittsburgh. I went to Pittsburgh and I won about $1,500 in a night because I walked like 3-4 categories. They gave me a I-99 form to fill out and to turn in, as well as when I went to Zoli Ball, won about 1,000. He gave one as well.
Do you go to these functions calculating what you anticipate winning, or does that even factor in?
I go in there with I'm going to compete. If I win, it's a plus. If I don't, I'm okay.
Okay, because some people do go to these functions.
They do.
Looking for.
Okay, well, I'm gonna win 1,000, so that it help me pay for this, and I can pay for this. And no, if you don't have it from the beginning, and you go there expecting that, because people buy a one-way ticket to go to a ball, say, okay, my category is 500, I'll win this 500, and I'll get my flight back home. Or something like that.
I really think that has a lot to do with some of the violence we see at these functions when people lose because they're really counting on that money, and when it doesn't come through, like, how am I going to get home? Where am I going to stay? What am I going to eat? How am I going to pay for my food? All those things start flashing in your head, and you become a little volatile. And when you think it's shade, you might snap on somebody because the money ain't come through like you expected it. Is that part of your experience dealing with some of the
I think that is a true statement, Tom. And as well as if they don't win and they factor that in with them, they immediately hit up a house member or something, automatically thinking that you had extra money or you got money to get them back home and stuff like that. And when just say you're right on the same wavelength that they are, like you're just did enough to get to the ball because you really want to come to the ball, but you had enough money to eat and to do your dues and to get back home. And when they're not helped, then they'll, no one in the house helped me, no one's here, I'm leaving. So that
right. That's why when I was traveling heavy, because I used to travel heavy too, going to different functions to record the balls, I never went anywhere that I couldn't afford. Like I never went to a function because I was depending on somebody else, or even depending on winning a category, because I didn't need the money from competing in categories. So yeah, I would echo what you're saying. You should never go to a ball with the expectation of winning because you need the money. That's probably when you need to sit home and just kind of regroup and focus on some other stuff. If you're counting on ballroom coins to come through, because you never know, the ball might not even finish. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take a quick break. Back in just a moment. And welcome back to the Roundtable with Tom Blumenthal. My very special guest is Rodney Balmain, the legendary icon. Rodney, again, thank you so much for sitting down with me.
No problem, Tom. Thank you for having me.
So I want to jump into some other aspects of Rodney. Who is Rodney? You know, everybody knows you as the DC ambassador, or the mayor of DC, like you're known.
Popular.
But you recently switched it up on everybody. You decided you were going to pack it up and head to the Midwest, to Chicago. First of all, what the heck? What brought that on? Was it like, were you chasing love? I mean, what happened? How did you decide you wanted to go to Chicago?
Well, my love for money was first. I relocated with my job, transferred, and it was a relationship as well. So, but the job was first. The job came first, because if I didn't have a job, I was not moving anywhere. So, yeah, I just relocated, wanting something different, wanted to change to, further my life.
How do you like Chicago so far?
I love Chicago. It's one of my favorite cities. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, I like Chicago too when it's like springtime. I can't do Chicago in the wintertime. I just cannot. It's just way too cold.
I was lucky. It was a mild winter. This past winter was very, very mild. It was really nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody was in the house mostly for the second half of winter. But so you like it out there. You say you moved out for work and relationship. Now let's talk about the relationship. You want to tell me who was this guy? Now I've heard on the street, word around town, is that it was someone in your house as well, and also a realness guy.
But he wasn't in the house prior to.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
So what's the status on that?
There's no status on that.
Okay. What does that mean, Rodney?
It means just what it says. There's no status on that at this time. Yeah.
Okay. So now again, just from the water cooler, okay, that and I don't know how deep you want to go, but the water cooler talk is that the relationship spiraled out of control. So what has it been like for you going through a public breakup? Was it harder to deal with?
Well, it wasn't really public because no one knew. They still thought that. No, people assume based off a very I can say that word, a very messy person that's on Facebook that makes posts, that does things like that to say, put information out.
Okay. But there wasn't
at that time. It was incorrect.
Okay, but since then there has been a breakup, obviously.
Correct.
So have you found it harder to deal with the fallout of the breakup because of your public persona, or was it easier because it had already happened by the time people found out?
That's correct. The latter.
Okay. So, well, let's talk about the breakup then, because my sources tell me that the breakup, there was a love triangle, a scandal ensued, and this person, the lover or ex-lover, was involved in a scandalous affair with none other than is it I don't even know, but
okay.
Well, you tell me. I mean, it's your relationship.
No knowledge of that.
None of that's true?
No knowledge of that.
Okay.
That's why I'm laughing, because I have no knowledge of that.
So that's not true.
Correct.
There was no secret trips to and the two of them secretly hooking up without you being aware, and then you later find this stuff out?
Again, I still haven't found this out. My first time hearing this from you right now.
Okay. Rodney, stop playing with me.
I swear to God.
Okay. All right. Well, if that's not the case, listen, I don't know it to be true, so don't quote me. All right. I'm just asking the questions.
Correct.
How difficult is it for you trying to find somebody who wants Rodney for Rodney and not Rodney lights, camera, action?
It is hard. It's very hard. It's very hard. You think you do, you think you found it, and you know it's a 70, I say 60-40 type of thing. You think you found the person, and then that other 40 is giving, maybe you think in back of your head is giving famous, you know,
So,
person.
in other words, do you find yourself always questioning or being cynical about the true motives of a person? Because I find myself always questioning that.
Yeah, of course, you can't help but to.
Yeah, I mean, it really is hard to trust if somebody is like, are they really telling me they want to be with me because of, they really care about me and love me, or is it because they just have been caught up in the whole outward appearance of who I am? They're caught up in the lights, camera, action as opposed to the heart. And how do you know? Because you never really can tell.
You can't. You can't. It's just something that's deep down that eventually come out in yourself. You're like, wait a minute, or like, like that. But it's nothing that's just on the surface.
Yeah. How hard did it hit you when this relationship, the most recent one, fell apart?
I'm gonna be a total 100% honest with you. I felt no kind of way.
Really? How's that
No.
possible?
It's me. It's me. The people that's close to me will tell you when something is done with me, it's done.
But okay, help me understand, because when you love somebody, or even if you care for a person and the relationship doesn't work, I mean, those feelings, how do you just erase those feelings like that?
Because in the back of your head already, you're already thinking bad things, or thinking this or thinking that, and thinking whatever. And so for a clear conscience, you delete all of that as well as the individual.
It's almost like you go into it almost in a transactional kind of way, like expecting something to go wrong.
And, when you hear or you see certain types of signals or certain type of things, then yes, you prepare for the worst.
So how do you ever find true love if you go into a situation with the expectation that it's not going to work out?
Through trial and error. That's the only way you can do it.
Do you think you're open to loving somebody again?
Always. I'm a Cancer. We have, we're very compassionate. We're very sensitive individuals. So it's easy. It's easy.
Mm-hmm. Is there a new boo?
No, at all. My boo always that's there for me is Balmain. That's my boo.
Mm-hmm.
It's my baby.
Any opportunity to rekindle with this person? Why don't you do you want to say what his name is? Because I don't want to keep saying the person. I mean, I think everybody knows.
No, you can keep saying the person.
Is there any chance of patching up, if you will?
Probably not.
Okay. It's just done.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Well, I know you. When you're done, you're done.
That is correct.
And nothing that you want to tell us about what happened to make you feel that way?
No, not at all. Until the interview come out, nobody was still. There's a lot of people that still didn't know that we were not together.
Really? So
Yeah.
This is breaking news. You're telling people for the first time right now that you and the boo, he's now the ex-boo.
Right. The people that are not in our circle. Yes.
When did this happen? Was it recent?
It's September now. July.
Oh, Rodney, people know by now.
They do not.
How's that possible?
Because there is none of their business. They don't know. They,
Is he still in your house?
No.
Okay. Well, exit from the house and the house.
Yeah. Two different reasons.
Okay. Well, what is that like though, having a lover who's in your same house? Are there people in the house jealous because of that? Maybe they think he's getting special treatment.
Of course, anybody would think that with anyone that have a relationship with someone in their house, they would think that about them, that they get special treatment. They do, but my house realized that wasn't the case. So they was able to move on. Same rules and regulations applies to everyone, every member.
Going forward, would you find yourself in another relationship with another house member?
I can't. Well, no, I won't be. It won't be with a Balmain. Can't say about ballroom, but it won't be a Balmain. That was done.
Yeah. Do you tend to date people in the ballroom scene? Because I found when I was in the scene, I tried to steer clear of other ballroom people. Do you follow that same logic, or do you just kind of take your chances wherever with whomever?
If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But the last 3 has been ballroom. But like I said, we was dating before he joined the house. So I don't date the house members. We was together before he came aboard. So
okay. And well, I'll tell you what, how about you want to run down the list of some of your famous exes?
I do not.
Is there one who stands out more than the rest?
They're all popular guys in the scene.
Popular. Okay.
Yes. That's all
That's all you can say.
Yeah.
Are there any that you remain in like good connection with, good friendship with?
I communicate and say hello when I see him out at the club or at a ball. I'll say hello.
Folks, we're going to take another quick break from the Roundtable with Tom Blumenthal and my special guest, Rodney Balmain. Back in just a moment. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Roundtable with Tom Blumenthal, my special guest, Rodney Balmain. So what's next for you, Rodney? I mean, you've branched out, you've started your own house, you're making your new life in Chicago. Will we ever see you reemerge back in DC? You ever plan to relocate back to DC?
DC is always an option, and that's home. So you're always comfortable going home. So who knows? But for now, I'm trying to, stay firm, stay focused in Chicago.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say is probably the little known secret about Rodney? Because of course we see the public Rodney, but when you get behind closed doors, like what, are you walking around in your Hugh Hefner pajama set, or do you walk around just naked? Like what's give me the Rodney behind the closed doors.
When I'm home, my channel stays on about three stations. That would be TNT, ESPN, and probably WGN, because I love Chicago PD, I love Law and Order, I love Criminal Minds. I can just binge watch those shows all day if I'm home, all day. And then I need my sports in ESPN. Yes, that's it. That's me.
Now, let me go through a couple rapid fire questions for you. Let's see. So this is going to help us really get to know the other Rodney, the Rodney, just regular Rodney. Sprite or Sierra Mist?
Sprite.
Coke or Pepsi?
50-50.
What? You can't do 50-50 on Coke or Pepsi?
Yes, because I like Pepsi drinking it, but when I do Hennessy, I like Coke.
McDonald's or Burger King?
Burger King.
Rodney, I'm seeing you in a whole different light now. Boxer briefs or boxers?
Boxer briefs.
Okay. I don't even know if I should ask what your favorite drink is, because you probably have had all of them. Do you have a favorite drink?
Alcoholic.
Yes.
Why? Hennessy.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen what your liver looks like? Have you ever done an X-ray of it? Is it still there?
No, look, I always say, I look good. I look good on the outside, still forever staying young. But I know on the inside, it's some problems.
You're known as Father Cocktail because you always keep a drink in hand.
Right.
Do you ever think you'll get to a point where you will stop drinking?
Probably when I stop going to balls. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's never going to happen.
But I always replenish myself by drinking lots of water.
Mm-hmm.
So I drink a lot of water.
Gotcha. So I'm not a drinker, so I don't know what that's like. But from watching you, it seems pretty fun.
It is. It relaxes me. It makes me enjoy being around fake people all the time, stuff like that. By being at the balls, so you can be cordial and have another sip to say, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. Okay. So moving along to the current state of ballroom, what do you feel about this current commercialization of ballroom? I mean, it's gone mainstream now. How do you feel about that?
Happy in a sense that it was underground and it was a secret society type of thing, but based on the talents of individuals and people standing up for what they believe in and things like that. It has been mainstream stuff, so I'm happy in that aspect, but I'm unhappy about the changing of the how authentic it was in that rooms. So that's the only part I'm not quite happy about. But
I would agree with that. I mean, you lose some of that authenticity when commercial interests become involved because it's about the money. For people who, like us, we won't benefit. Well, for the most part, we won't benefit from the financial windfall that's happening when the commercial interests come in. But on the flip side of that, I do think it's good for the exposure because people who are like regular folks competing in ballroom can take this as an opportunity to springboard to bigger and better, and take their lives and careers to the next level by using ballroom. So I think it's good in that respect, and some people have taken advantage of that, and which I think is a great thing. But I would love to see that on a more wide scale in terms of regular ballroom people having opportunities to really go to the next level and have careers and become choreographers or actors or whatever they want to do, stylists, all the things that we're known for in this scene,
right?
Traditionally been stolen from us. So, but you're okay with sort of the with it going mainstream and being on the big screen.
Correct.
This is your first time sitting down for an exclusive, no holds barred interview. Why was now the time to tell your story?
I feel like it could have been told years ago, but you have people that just like to hear themselves or see themselves always taking all the credit, always doing everything. And I just feel like I'm just every year, every 4 or 5 years, I'm revamping. I am reasserting myself, reinventing myself to move with each generation. And I speak with some of the newer leaders that's out to still, understand it from an old aspect and me understanding from a new aspect. As far as when they speak of judges, they need new judges, and speak of us not being respected by the older heads. And I want to be an example that you are respected, that you are, we do believe in the new leaders and the new generation, and the respect level is there. But just when you get tempers and get mad, then you want to read as opposed to coming to get an understanding.
Yeah. And one thing, I'm sorry. One thing about ballroom too, in this space that we have created for each other, a lot of people come and go, and we've lost a lot of very creative, memorable, legendary people. And I know for you lost someone very special to you, and that was your mother, Tony Milan. What was it like for you losing him? How difficult was it to wake up to that news?
It was definitely heartbreaking because Tony had that energy that makes everybody laugh, and he also had the energy to make everybody hate him as well. But that was just a thing of ballroom. Sharp-witted, the tongue was a razor. It will cut you immediately. So, and then our life was not just ballroom. We was a everyday life, on education, on things of that nature. Oh, by the way, something they didn't know about me. I graduated from Hampton University, and Tony graduated from Morehouse. So
Now, I knew Tony graduated from Morehouse. I did not know you graduated from Hampton.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now, listen, I'm an HBCU grad as well. I have no.
Like Atlanta.
Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Hampton is not one of my favorites. It's I would call Hampton pretty low rate.
I'm sorry that you didn't get. I'm sorry that they didn't accept you, so you had to go to Clark. I do understand that.
Well, it's Clark Atlanta, but Hampton. I mean, Hampton is that says a lot to walk out of Hampton with a degree. So congratulations to you. I did not know that. But back to Tony, because I do want to make sure that we give just due to Tony, because I agree with you. Very sharp-witted, immensely intelligent. I mean, the man was so smart. And you really had to have thick skin to be Tony's friend, he didn't suffer fools. Yes. I mean, have you been able to get over that yet, or is it still something that stings?
Of course, I always look at our pictures and talk to Brandon and different people like that. But yeah, it's forever in my heart. That's forever in my heart. Because unlike a lot of people, I only had one gay mother and one gay father. I don't have a butch queen mother, pimp queen mother, drag mother, and all type of stuff. So it was, very, very hard for me to deal with at first. And I talked with Kima a lot about it, because me and Kima were very, very me and Kima were very, very close. So, and Tony always visited us and always hung out at our crib when we were roommates and stuff like that. So our bond was just there.
Yeah, Are there other people you've lost who, that hurt is just as strong for you?
It is. Some of them were ballroom. Some of them weren't ballroom. So
do you find it difficult to grieve in public because you're such a public figure? Is it harder for you, or do you have to maintain that image of realness, Rodney? Not on the soft side.
Everybody at some point is definitely sensitive to death. So I definitely cried for Tony. I definitely cried for Cabbage. Just thinking about Deja was a because we spoke frequent. So so it's a few that really they touch me. And then a friend of mine, Lim from Philly, who just recently I just heard passed. So I'm like, wow, since it was people that were close to me, that yeah.
Do you ever have those lonely nights or lonely days where you find yourself sitting around the house and people that you used to really be close with are no longer here, and it kind of hits? Does that ever happen?
Yes, because some of those talks that you always get, or the reads that come and different things like that. Like, oh my God, I miss that. I wish wish she was here right now, and stuff like that. To see me prosper, to see what I did, what I'm doing, and stuff like that. So I just want them there to comfort me and to congratulate me and to be there. So yeah.
Rodney, I want to transition, if I could, really quickly to some other stuff. Who do you not see it for in ballroom? Who should just pack it up? Who should pack it up and get out of here?
Tom, I like all competition, so I'm going to not say their name.
but you do have a few people on that list.
I do. It's but one seems to already have packed it up because they haven't been on a runway in so long, but their voice is still being heard on Facebook and around Facebook. But they haven't touched the floor in eons. They've seen.
Well, who is that? I don't know who you're talking about.
No. I'm not.
Come on, Rodney. I've never known you to be to hold back fully.
I know, but I'm trying to be that political one at this time.
Okay, so you've been listening to Harold apparently.
Oh my God.
Well, what house is this person from?
Okay, nope, not gonna say that either.
You know what, Rodney? I can't with you. Well, who gives you life? Who do you love to see hit the floor, and not from your own house?
It's always great to see Michi. He brings a vibe. He brings an element that is just different. Little James, Wes. I love Little James as well. Corey, Lenvin, very entertaining. The West Runaway Squad as a whole, Giovanni, Mimi, Boy, those effects are just mind blowing, and they definitely walk as well. So those are a few.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the House of West because I actually interviewed James, overall founding father James West, and his interview will be debuting or premiering later in this series. And I said to him as well that I admire what they've done with that house. For it to be so new, they've really come in and just tore it up. They've really hit the floor hard, and you can really tell that they have an agenda about what they are trying to do, and it's to dominate. You can see it. It's very clear. So it's funny you mentioned that about the House of West and James as well. But still don't want to tell us who can pack it up and go home.
No, I'm going to pass on that. I like to, I try to stay positive. So I want to give life to those that deserve it, and those that don't deserve my attention or me speaking their name out of my lips, I tend to stay away from those people.
Okay, gotcha. Now, over the years, Rodney, you have had your share of scandals. Are there any? I mean, let's just be honest here. Are there any that stand out more than the others?
Well, Tom, I'm going to ask you to bring some of those to light so I can.
No. You tell me what ones you remember.
I don't remember any scandals.
Really? No scandals?
I don't think maybe a few lies, but no scandals.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, in closing, I definitely would like to give a shout out to my house, the House of Balmain, on their 5-year anniversary. I definitely want to give a shout out to the founders of Balmain, Nikki Balmain, Kai X Balmain, Milan, and the overall mother, Felicity Balmain, and to the great job that my leaders are doing that are in place now, that's making the house flow and grow.